Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome all. We're very excited to be here today. Thank you all for listening in. So, मेरा नाम बलविंदर कौर है. I'm a sevadar at Khalis Foundation. I am a mother of now 2 grown-up children. I live in California. My day job is a software engineer. We're very pleased to be introducing the team to you today. जिन्हों ने बड़ा ही प्यारा एक project हैगा, उसका नाम हैगा शब्दावली, and this project has been incubated and sponsored by Khalis Foundation. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋਗੇ Khalis Foundation ਨੂੰ. Most people know it by Sikhi to the Max website, by the desktop, Sundar Gutkam. It's a 20-year-old organization. We promote Sikhi through technology. Sadi ek badi major contribution we have is Vani DB, which is the most accurate digital version of Gurbani. We correct it. We have peer review processes. And some of you with young children might also know us through our children books, Good Night Guru, Prem Singh's Vacation, Prem Singh's Day. And if you stay tuned in a few weeks, you might learn about another one. But let's move on to the topic today. Ke sadi maa boli, sadi guruan di boli, Punjabi, kyun inni, why it is so important, te khas karke jehde assi hun Punjab vich nahi rehndे, what can we do to preserve it? So let's talk about Shabdavli, and I am very privileged to introduce the team that has been working on it for over a year now. And so with no more, I think we should have some fun, yeah? So maybe ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ, your day job, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ time zone ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਸਾਡੀ ਬੜੀ global team ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ. ਤੇ just for cake, ਸਾਨੂੰ 35 ਅੱਖਰ ਸਾਰੀ ਬੜੀ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ, but your favorite ਅੱਖਰ from Gurmukhi alphabet and why? So why don't we start with you, Manveer, and followed by Mannat, Gurmeher, and then Amitoj.
Sure, yeah, sounds good. I'm really excited to be here today and to speak with everybody. Mera naam Manveer Singh hai. I'm a high school student from California, which puts me in the Pacific Standard Time, and I'm currently taking college classes in Punjabi. And so favorite akhar, it's a really interesting question. I think I'd have to say probably it's a weird one. I'd say Rada, and I think that's normally most people's least favorite akhar, but for me I think it's my favorite because for the longest of time I would just be like a Rara. But once I was actually able to say it right and use it properly in words, mainu us gal da kafi maan hoya, and I'm still really proud that I'm actually able to say the letter Rada. So I'd have to say that's probably my favorite.
Awesome.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Mera naam Mannat hai. I'm also from California, and I just finished my second year of college. And mera favorite akhar is probably Pabba. I think there's so many fun words with Pabba, like Pambad, Parthu, Pasudi, Panguda. Like, I just have so much fun saying words that start with Pabba. So my favorite's definitely Pabba. Pambidi, yeah.
Gurmeher Ji.
Anji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Gurmeher Singh, and I'm currently an undergraduate student studying computer science here in Melbourne, Australia. And my main job is working as software engineer at Khalis Foundation. My favorite akhar will be Ada. They shared very interesting thoughts. I draw something as well, like how we draw Ada. So like my idea is like it kind of represents a Sikh's life, because like study lives in there we have ups and downs, and ਅਸੀਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ problems ਦੇ loops ਵਿੱਚ ਫਸ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ. So it kind of represents that, and like at one point we go to our very lowest, and ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਜਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਰਾਖੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ then ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, like, and it gives us like infinite ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ. So yeah. That's my
Oh,
favorite of
that's
it, Ada.
awesome.
Thank you.
I
Right.
love that so much.
Yeah. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. First of all, thanks for having me. It's been a great honor to be part of this team. And yeah, my name is Amitoj Singh, and I work as a software developer at Khalis Foundation. This is my full-time job, and I am one of the developers in Shabdavli. Basically, I'm from Punjab, but currently I'm living in Edmonton, Alberta. And my favorite akhar is Sasa. We have a lot of words from Sasa like Sabar, Santok, Shukar. Like one of my favorite word is Shukar. Like a few years ago, I met a Gursik, and ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ like it's like you always have to do shukar ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਕਰੋ ਉਨਾ ਘੱਟ ਹੈ, so do as much shukar as you can. So that's my favorite word. Mm.
Awesome. ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ। ਮੇਰਾ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਅੱਖਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਬੱਬਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਂਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੱਬੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੱਚੇ ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਬਾਂਦਰ, ਬੱਤਖ, ਬਿੱਲੀ, ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਆਂਟੀ, ਹੈਨਾ। ਆਲਰਾਈਟ, ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਲਿਪੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਉਂ why are we so passionate about it, and why do we feel so deeply about it? So maybe we can start with something personal from your lives, ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ something ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੀ ਮਹੱਤਤਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਵੇ, by you might have felt something why this is so important. Because to all the people who have dialed in and listened, we are going to share how much effort the team has put in. So there has to be something personal. Again, let's maybe we'll turn around the order this time. So Amitoj, Virji, Gurmeher, Mannat, and then Manmeer.
Definitely. So मैंने एक स्टोरी याद आ रही है, like एक टाइम like I was on a family gathering with all the childrens around, like मेरी एज थे भी, मेरे तो ਵੱਡੇ भी थे, मेरे तो छोटे भी. We were doing like kirtan, then we had a sakhi night, and then we have a conversation about gursikhi. And at that time I noticed कि अपनी ਜਿਹੜੀ young generation ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਸਮਝਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ and ਬੋਲਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, and moreover Gurbani Padan de vich. So that was my main trigger point. And I was like, I have to do something using tech for like to preserve our mother tongue, to preserve the Gurmukhi, to preserve like doing something in tech. And luckily I got chosen for the Shabdavali. I feel so lucky, and I feel like Shabdavali is the solution that we were looking for, and that help the younger children to maintain and to understand Punjabi, to learn Punjabi in a fun and innovative way. So that's a story from my
Wow.
side.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, PG. For myself, Miravi, like I have similar story because like so when I was in secondary school, I used to go to this Gurmat camp. They final day they used to have this play like ਉਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, and ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ I think they had a Maboli play ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ they depicted like Maboli as your mother and other bolis as your masi or pua. And they said like ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ, like ਮਾਸੀ ਭੂਆ they cannot replace that ਪਿਆਰ. So that kind of triggered inside me ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਮਾਂ ਬੋਲੀ ਆਪਣੀ important ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ like ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਾਂ ਬੋਲੀ 'ਚ ਜੋ feelings convey ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ emotions, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੋਲੀ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. And like ਸਾਡੇ thoughts ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੋਲੀ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹੀ ਬੋਲੀ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ define ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਤੇ yeah, like also ਮੇਰੇ high school 'ਚ we had because I was in Delhi, so ਸਾਡੇ mostly ਸਾਰੇ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, but there was this one senior ਜੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਸੀ ਪੂਰੀ, so he also inspired me ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ. ਐਂਡ yeah, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ. ਐਂਡ ਇੱਕ ਮੇਰਾ ਦੋਸਤ ਵੀ ਸੀਗਾ, he was from non-Punjabi background, but he also got inspired, and ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਆਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਨਾਲ ਪੂਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, and she was so impressed. I was like, wow, that's awesome and inspiring. Yeah, and that's all.
Thank you, Gurmeer. I think for me, so there's two reasons. Ikta, my college shuru karan to pehla gap year litta si. I took a year off to travel, and as part of that, I decided to spend about 4 mahine in Punjab. And meri पूरी family India च दिल्ली चों हैगी, so मैं कदे Punjab इन्ना time नहीं लाया सी, so this was my first time in Punjab. And I remember I was in Patiala doing shopping because I love to shop. And in the stores, I was always hearing from people, like the salespeople would come up to me and speak to me in Hindi, and I would be like, this is kind of weird. And one time I actually asked one of them, I was like, "Bhi tusi mere naal Hindi ch kyun gal kar rahe ho? Punjab hega." And she's like, they told us that like it's more professional if we speak Hindi, and like the clients prefer that more. And that really hit me, like if in Punjab, Punjabi isn't considered like the language that people are proud to speak, if there's something else jithe loਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੋਲੀ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੈਗਾ, then we're kind of doomed. And so that's the first time that I realized that like Punjabi is actually under threat. But more about like why I think Shabdavli is super important is because, you know, I grew up going to Khalsa school and Punjabi school, and har ਐਤਵਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਇੱਕੋ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੰਮੀ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਸਨ ਵੀ ਬੇਟਾ ਤੂੰ homework ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, and ਮੈਂ ਮੰਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ bag ਦੇਖਿਆ। And so we just kind of realized you know, we need an online solution or something that can get kids engaged and practicing Punjabi consistently, because the traditional methods that we have aren't working, because like I don't even know where my bag was. So I'm really excited about Shabdavli and watching this project grow.
Yeah, I had obviously the same experience as Manda ke bag pata nahi kithe siga. But I think for me the turning point was really the Gurmat courses that I took at Khalsa school, and through those I became really interested in Sikh history. You know, Sarde Shਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਖੀਆਂ, Guruਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਖੀਆਂ, and that really inspired me to start listening to a lot of YouTube discussions about Ikta Sikh history, and then also more broadly about Sikhi. And generally those discussions were in Punjabi. And jidda main oh cheezan suni I kept kind of listening to them, I realized that Punjabi is so important to both understand our history and also to understand sada dharam. And I think that's really what motivates me right now to kind of work towards preserving Punjabi, because for me preserving Punjabi is about preserving Sikhi.
Thank you so much. That was very touching. So let's move forward to the inception of the Shabdavli project. So मैं 20 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੰਨਤ ਤੇ ਮਨਵੀਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, you know, going to Khalsa school, it's a big thing ਇੱਥੇ in people out of who don't live in Punjab. It's how we preserve and learn our language and religion. And I have seen the journey of my own kids and other kids. And what I found was that when they are young, they are able to learn decoding. They learn the language. They learn the decoding. But once they get to like the 4th grade or 5th grade, ke decode karni aagi pasha, but then they just fall off. It's a huge struggle. ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ when I used to hear from kids ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਸਿੱਖੀ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੈਗਾ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ oh I hate ਖਾਲਸਾ ਸਕੂਲ। ਦਾ ਕਾਰਨ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ, ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ। So it was around that time that Manveer came up with a idea, and I will let him tell us all about it. And it just seemed like the perfect thing at the perfect time.
Yeah, so kind of at the start of my freshman year in high school, I started concurrently taking college courses in Punjabi as a replacement for my high school's foreign language requirement. And, you know, previously to that, I'd learned a lot of other languages. And as I'd been learning, I'd used a lot of web applications. You know, for English, we use Membean. For Spanish, there was Duolingo. But for Punjabi, the Samai, I realized Punjabi, there was nothing. You know, there was no Duolingo for Punjabi. And this was a really big issue for me. And also at the same time, I realized that a lot of us Punjabi students here in the diaspora struggle a lot with advanced Punjabi vocabulary. So kind of putting those two together, I approached Khalis with this idea to create Shabdavli, a web and a mobile app. And the idea is that, you know, it teaches students Punjabi vocabulary using a combination of images, text to speech, and showing words in different contexts. And what's really important is that our focus is on retention, not memorization. So as students are using this, they are also building, you know, their fluency in speaking and writing and listening Punjabi. And, you know, Khalis was obviously very receptive to the idea. And with their support, we interviewed close to 50 students, teachers, and parents across the US. And I think the one thing that I consistently heard was that everybody was looking for joyful and engaging ways to learn Punjabi vocabulary. But I think the one thing that really stuck out to me was parents di gal ke parents can they see hamesha ke the only thing which we care about is just making sure that our kids become attached to Punjabi, that they enjoy speaking it and they kind of fall in love with this bhasha ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੁਸ਼ਤਾਂ ਤੋਂ our family's been speaking.
Thank you. That's yeah. I still remember the day when you did your presentation, and definitely it's the right time for this. But Jiri, Hannah, web application, one of the most important things is the content, and Mannat has undergone a lot of efforts and has quite a journey around this. So please share what you discovered along the way.
Oh my gosh, it is quite a story. But I think part of what's made the Shabdavali content so difficult to develop is also what makes it so compelling and interesting to students. And that is that we're trying to create content which is really enriching in the Punjabi that it teaches students while also being relevant to kids in the West. So we want to have the sentences about like Disneyland and going to the movies that kids here are going to relate to, because we want the sentences and the questions that they do to be fun and engaging. And so we tried a bunch of different things. Apa shuru kita with hiring content creators in Punjab. And unfortunately, we found they lacked the cultural fluency to actually write sentences that were relevant to bachche in the West. And then we were like, okay, apa model reverse karde hain, apa ਇੱਥੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਲੱਭਦੇ ਆ ਜੋ ਕਿ content ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ. And that didn't work because unfortunately they lacked the Punjabi fluency to actually write like correct and like thorough Punjabi content. And so now we've settled on a cool model where we generate some baseline content using LLMs, and then after that, we get a team both here in the US and also in Punjab to work together to improve both the cultural relevance of the content and the actual Punjabi complexity. And we hope by combining both technology with like Punjabi expertise and cultural historical expertise, we're able to create content which is fun, engaging, and also teaches kids about Sadi Sikh history, Sada Punjabi Virsa. So we have sentences about the Char Sahibzade, Baba Deep Singh, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And so kids are learning Punjabi and they're also learning their history.
And we just love that at Khalis Foundation. We're all techies who love the latest innovation while building products. So using LLMs and ChatGPT is just what we do. I think Gurmeer, Amitabh, you'll all agree with it, right?
Yeah.
So ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਠੀਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੋਵੇ. So Khalis Foundation ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ whenever we build products, we make sure that the user interface, user design is really thought to. And so why don't you share the process we followed and the investment we made into the user interface?
Yeah, I think the design process took us a lot of time and effort, and it's something I know I'm certainly really proud of. So, we began our design process by discussing with our team what all of us kind of hope to see out of this product. And, after that, our very, very, very talented designer, Inder Virji, created some wireframes, and then we spent a lot of time refining the design internally. A lot of care was put into, every button, every icon, every screen. It was very, carefully planned in place to create the best possible experience for the students using this app. And, once we created this initial design, we did a whole new set of user studies to ensure that the design was engaging and interesting for students, that the bachche who were going to be using the app actually liked the way it worked and that it made sense to them and that it flowed smoothly. And then the feedback that they gave was also later incorporated into the design. I think additionally, another thing that was really important was that we included various types of questions within the application. So, we have example might be like, guessing a word based off of context. Ke jado mainu neendar aandi hai, main dash karta. Or, it could be guessing a word based off of an image. So you show a photo of a kisan and ask the student what is shown in this photo, or, matching definitions with words, or so much more. And then I think the feature that I'm actually the most excited by is called Nanak coins. And so it was inspired by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Tera Tera Sakhi Agya. And the idea is that after getting 13 questions right, students get a Nanak coin as a reward. And it's kind of modeled after, the old Nanak Shahi Sikke that were used during, the Khalsa Raj and all. And so I think just all of those elements of our application are things I'm really, really proud of.
Thank you so much. Maybe let's start talking a little bit more tech, because a lot of us are techies here, है ना, who love the Punjabi language. So, ਗੁਰਮੇਹਰ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ, ਆਪਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੰਨਤ ਤੇ ਟੀਮ ਨੇ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, we started with a spreadsheet and very soon it became obvious ਕਿ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਂਭਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਤੇ most of us software engineers, we don't get a chance to become founding engineers for products. So you want to share ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ content management tool ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ, and of course Mannat is your prime customer, so please why don't you share what challenges you faced and what keeps you going?
Sure, Hanji. So first of all, I really loved working on the Shabad Kosh app, which was basically an insider tool for content management. ताकि ਹੁਣ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ spreadsheet was a huge hustle ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ like it was getting really messy ਤੇ because we had like content creators from different parts of the world as well, so keeping them together and सारा sync ਚ ਹੋਏ ਕੰਮ, so we needed this app. So for the app, one of the few main challenges were like managing multiple users and also dividing different stages of the apps, because like we need to keep track like a word हैगा, it is currently in review, या फिर कुछ कोई word हैगा जेड़ा has been passed through all the review processes and is now active, which can be used in our Shabdaldi app. They like फिर इंदर ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ incorporated and built a schema ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਸਾਡਾ data ਸੀਗਾ it was really well structured. And yeah, like also as I mentioned, segregating the permissions was also a main thing, because like there was a reviewer access, there was a creator access, and an admin access. So where admin was Mannat Kaur, because they were like reviewing all the data as well and giving new creators permissions to join them. And ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਮਨਤਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗੀ, that we had like end ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ data it was with contribution of USA kids and also Punjab the kids, like Punjab the content creators. So which kind of gives me a vibe like ki we all come together globally to preserve Punjabi language, and ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡਾ way ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਿਆ. And yeah, and inner motivation ਮੇਰੀ ਇਹ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ like ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ app ਹੈ, this is going to help a whole generation of kids in the US and other states as well, like in making their vocabulary better, and yeah, making it an interactive platform was gonna help them to be connected to their roots. So yeah, that kept me motivated all the time.
Thank you. Then let's move over to our other founding engineer, Abdoj Virji. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਵਲੀ web application ਤੇ I know we had a lot of challenges there, so why don't you share how your journey has been in building the web application?
Yeah, sure. So ਸ਼ਬਦਾਵਲੀ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਲਾਈਕ ਹੁਣੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਗੁਰਮੇਹਰ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਐੜਾ ਅੱਖਰ, so I was just resonating like it's lots of up downs like ਐੜਾ ਅੱਖਰ, and ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਬੱਚੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਸੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਮੇਨ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਊ ਟੂ ਮੇਕ ਇਟ ਫਨ, ਕਿ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਟਿਵ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੱਚੇ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਨ. That was our first challenge that we got. Another thing is कि अपन नु responsive बनाना है, like अपन like desktop पे भी work करे, even TV पे भी work करे, I would say desktop mobile application. So that was our second goal. अपने ये भी challenge आया सीगा. Second like उस तो बाद जो main challenge सीगा कि अपन tech stack केड़ा choose करना है, and I'm very happy like we choose really good tech stack जिन नाल अपनी real time data instruction database interactions बहुत वधिया होईयां, and अपना कोड बहुत ज़्यादा ऑप्टिमाइज होया, and ਜਦੋਂ अपनी ऐप तैयार हो रही सी I felt like कि speed काफ़ी fast हो रही है, like there are very less latency, and speed ਨਾਲ भी कोई compromise नहीं किया. We make the app responsive and with the lowest latency, And ये सारे challenges ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ like what kept me going is the vision of Shibdavli. Like ਜਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ okay I'm going down, ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ trigger point ਯਾਦ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ yeah I have to do something for the kids and the mission to preserve Gurmukhi Punjabi language. So ਇਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ main trigger ਸੀਗਾ which kept me going and we finally did it.
Awesome. Yeah, ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇਗੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ if any of you who are engineers or love to program ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਖਾਲਿਸ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ source code ਹੈਗਾ we keep it all open source so GitHub ਤੇ ਹੈਗਾ so please go to the GitHub, download the repo, and if you would like to help contribute to this project or others, reach out to us. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ software engineers ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ project ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ features build ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ so please join us. So with that, we touched briefly on artificial intelligence and LLMs. The Mannat ne dasya how she has been using it content generation the which, but I think we have used artificial intelligence and LLMs in other parts of the product as well. So Gurmeher, Manveer, would you like to share how you've been using it?
Sure, Hanji. So like for example, ਆਪਾਂ ਜਦ coding ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ so during that time we mostly use GitHub Copilot, and there's also GitHub there's a integrated code checker which pinpoints if any errors are there. So we mostly use them to instantly debug the code, and like how Mannat mentioned, she used LLMs. I think Manveer will be better to cover on that.
Yeah, so as Manna mentioned, a big part of our content generation has been using GPT in the background to kind of facilitate, just making because I think the main thing for us is that thoda content nahi bana rahe. This is like a really, really big volume of content. So kind of using GPT in the background has really helped us facilitate that. But I think actually the feature that excites me personally the most isn't the GPT for content generation, but it's the text to speech icon that we have built into the app. So ula purpose is that ਜਿਵੇਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੋਏ students can click on this icon next to it and have an AI text to speech read that sentence in Punjabi back to them. So agar students might not be as fluent in reading, or it might be like a long word or a word they don't understand, they can just listen to it. They aksar sunan naal hi sanu samjh aa janda hai. I know when I was in college school, that's what I would do. I would just walk up to my dad and be like, Papa, tusi aap padh ke mainu samjha sakde ho ki likha hai? And also, an added benefit is that as they're using Shibdavli, ona di listening fluency for Punjabi is also improved as well, or reading the naal naal. So I think that's the usage of AI and Shibdavli that has me personally the most excited.
Yeah, so thank you. So we were very lucky to do some user with like students, kids actually using it. We got feedback. We've prototyped this text to speech quite a bit, but we still have to take it to production. ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਰਲੀ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਤਾਜੁਬ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾਨਕ ਕੋਇਨਸ ਬੜੇ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਏ ਲਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਵਰ ਨਾਟ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟਿੰਗ ਦੈਟ ਕਿ ਇਤਨੇ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਣਗੇ ਐਂਡ ਪਰ ਸਭ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਛੂਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ this helps bring back the joy in Punjabi learning. ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਸੀਗੇ I still remember on the outside of their daycare center was written ਕਿ our goal is to make sure your child wants to come back tomorrow. So ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਲਰਨਿੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਣਾ ਚਾਹਣ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸੋ I think it's very, very important ਕਿ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ while learning Punjabi learning. We are just started. It's the scratching the surface. ਬੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ features ਹੋਰ ਆਣੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ I would love if Amitoj and Mannat can share a little bit more about the features we have planned for our kids.
Yeah, so we are like very exciting features are coming in future. Like the first one that I want to discuss is about the student teacher dashboard, where student can see their progress. Even teachers can see their students' progress, how they are going on, how much words they have learned, how much points they get. So all this and another thing with writing Punjabi, with reading Punjabi, and with listening, like speaking is also important. So for this thing we have another feature that is coming, which is speech to text. Like it's like interact with the game using voice, and making game more accessible. And moreover, whenever student interact with the I would say Shabdavali, they will speak, and Shabdavali will check whether their pronunciation is good and how is their pronunciation going on. So like all these features are coming, and we are very excited for this.
Yeah, I think, and Balvinder, auntie, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ about like how we're using AI, right? And I think the speech to text is another great example of how we're using AI, because we're going to be able to give students live feedback on their grammar, on their syntax, on their pronunciation. So they're not only learning vocabulary, but they're also just improving their Punjabi. But I think the feature that I'm most excited about, and which I think the ਬੱਚੇ are also super excited about, is ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਨਕ coins ਹੈਗੇ। ਮਨਵੀਰ ਨੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ 13 ਦੀ ਸਾਖੀ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਿਕ we're doing 13 questions correct and you earn a Nana coin. And so we're hoping to build out features such as, well, one kid should be able to redeem these Nana coins that they earn for power-ups in the game, whether that's like a phone a friend or a 50-50 type of a power-up that they can get. We also hope that kids are going to be able to actually redeem the Nana coins for physical items, especially Khalis books. We think would be a really great fit, because students get to then redeem these coins that they've earned in a Punjabi learning context to continue to improve their Punjabi. But the one I'm super excited about is one day we would love to see functionality around like kids building their own pind using Nana coin, sort of like Farmville style, but Punjabi edition. So maybe to see 100 sikya di maj khareed li, 10 sikya di parandi khareed li. And the idea is that kids are going to be more and more incentivized to play more, like maybe even trade with their friends, be I'll take your kada, you take my parandi, and just like make it like a very interactive, very fun thing so that students keep coming back to it.
Thank you so much. So let's try to close out the panel. I think another feature that we are working on the content side is ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ use ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ, I think Mannat, we're working on that as well, right?
Yeah, we're starting with Japji Saab, which I'm super excited about. I think it's a great intro, Bonnie, and lots of words to learn.
So thank you so much, all of you. So let's close out with all of you sharing in your vision, what does the future of Gurmukhi and Punjabi look like? What's your dream that in the year, maybe 30 years from now, so 2054, what does this look like? And let's change the order one more time. So how about Mannat, Gurmeer, Manveer, and Amitoj?
Sure. Well, I think I love like Sadi Shabdavli, the team. I think it's wonderful to Sadi meeting shuru te khatam hundiya with the fateh. And so I would love to just see the energy that our team has put into building Shabdavli like be reflected in the students that are playing Shabdavli. And I hope that the excitement that we feel about Punjabi and Sadi Punjabi Boli is something that I see in the next generation of Punjabi speakers as well. And I hope ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਪਟਿਆਲੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਟੋਰਸ 'ਚ ਲੋਕੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਗੇ and I don't have to hear Hindi.
Awesome. That's great. It's kind of similar to me as well, but like Hunjavish Shabdabli as we are discussing. So I was thinking about it, and like a greater vision would be like it is being used as a Duolingo alternative for Punjabi, and like sare use kar rahe hai. And as I mentioned, ki Delhi ch mere school ch they mostly speak Hindi. So like even if it is a Sikh school, the Sikh schools at least they should all be speaking Punjabi and connected to their mother tongue. I'm hoping ki like ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪ like ਆਪਸ ਚ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ and yeah it becomes a better place for all of us.
Yeah, I think for me personally, obviously I'd love to see Punjabi flourish across the globe. But I think specifically one thing that I would want to see is to see Punjabi become extremely accessible digitally. Because, right now, ਜਿਹੜੀ digital space ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, it's really only open to languages which use the Latin alphabet, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ English or Spanish, French, German, ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ. But what I would love to see is Punjabi become accessible digitally, because that's where kids are spending their time. So, to see websites made in Punjabi, coding languages made in Punjabi, Punjabi keyboards, Punjabi, OSs, like that's really, I think, what I would love to see.
And like my dream is ki like Punjabi Gurmukhi become the main language, one of the main language with the highest number of speakers all over the world, and like everyone feel proud, like reading literature in Gurmukhi, writing literature in Gurmukhi, and by Shabdavali, like we will not only preserve, that's my goal, like we will not only preserve but celebrate Gurmukhi across the world. So that's my.
Thank you all so much. These are a few members of our Shabdavali team. ਸਾਡੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਬੜੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ. ਆਪ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਆਓ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਅੱਜਕੱਲ DVN ਦਾ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ. As you know, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ making something worthwhile, ਉਹ ਤਨ ਮਨ ਧਨ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ. ਆਪ ਜੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾਓ ਤੇ we will be answering all the questions in the chat. Thank you once again for your time and for all of the visitors who have been doing this stream. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Bye.
Bye, Gucci. Bye, Gucci ki Fateh.